Hey everybody at ISV, my name's Thomas Patrick and I'm submitting this video out of beautiful Portland, Oregon. Just want to tell you a little bit about myself and how I think I'm a great applicant and great candidate for your position as the regional director. I appreciate you just taking the time to get back to me after my email and take the time to sit through and listen to me tell you about myself and my experience with ISV. I hope this really gives you a little insight to who I am as a person. The first question you guys had was what type of impact ISV has had on my life, and that's definitely a big question because I, like many of other people that I talked to and my other friends that did it, it was just a huge impact on who I am today. Personally, I feel like the biggest thing it helped me with was just personal growth and kind of trusting who I am as a person. I went there like a lot of college age kids are, just kind of lost, not really knowing where they're at, looking for a career and trying to get through classes, and it really helped me trust who I am as a person and that I could go out there and do something different and do something that not your normal college student does, and that I could come out and have such a positive experience and meet so many awesome people and just have that in my back pocket for the rest of my life, that when there's something that I'm unfamiliar with maybe, or maybe a little even uncomfortable, that type of situation, that if I stick to my roots and stick to who I am and trust myself, then I'll be fine. I'll get through it, and life after that will be even greater than it was before. Another thing ISV did for me was help me realize what the rest of the world is like. I'd never been out of the country really before, besides a trip to Mexico where I stayed in resorts or hotels with my family, and that really doesn't compare to sitting in the middle of the woods for 2 weeks, living in a bunk, no air conditioning, no electricity or running water, and getting to experience culture, like people around me that don't speak English, and being able to learning to interact with those people was just a really, really, really great experience for me personally. Coming back home, I knew that I wanted to stay involved with the ISV, so the next step was being a student rep, which ended up being really a lot of fun. Got to go out to Orange City for your conference and met a ton of awesome other student reps, got a bunch of ideas and did all those fun activities, which ended up being a lot of fun. Brought a lot of those back home and did the booths and all the walking around the classrooms and to the different cafes on campus and lunchrooms and talking to other people, finding other people that are interested in similar dreams that I had of going abroad, and being able to motivate them and push them to take that step was really, really fun. It's something, ISV is something I think about every day. Future trips are always being planned, thought about with all my friends, even though it was about 2 summers ago now. I think just about now we'd be getting back. And it's hard to believe, but it feels like it's yesterday. And sustainability was another one of those huge things I brought back with me. It's just such an easy thing that not a ton of us think about, and whether it's just buying recycled products or turning the water off when you're brushing your teeth or shutting off the light when you walk out, there's just a million ways that we can help, and it really takes minimal effort if you just take the time to analyze what you're doing in your life, what's around you, and there's little ways you can that you can help out. And I even took that a little bit further when I was looking for a job after I graduated. I applied to a couple businesses, and I'm working as a CNA right now, and one of the organizations prided themselves on their sustainability. They had all eco-friendly products, all the eco-friendly toilets and lights, all the appliances were eco-friendly. Even the building itself was made out of 70% recycled materials. So after going there and meeting with the faculty and everybody on staff, I decided that was the place for me. And honestly, if I hadn't been involved in ISV and learned about those things, it wouldn't have been a factor in my decision. So as far as my project goes, I was based in the Eastern European project, which makes me cry that it's no longer offered, but I'm sure everybody's working to get it back. I lived in Kudarevo, Croatia for 2 weeks working on the orphan brown bear conservation. So if there's a ton of brown bears in the woods and surrounding hills all through central Croatia, and a big problem they have is poaching, and a lot of people just do it for fun, and they'll leave the bears after they shoot them in the woods, and if a mama bear gets shot, then there's the cubs, and they have no way to survive without their mother. And so if they're discovered or some people from some other city find them, usually those bears are brought to our village and put in the enclosures where they're raised by trainers and the locals who have a ton of experience. So it was really cool to get to see the bears and work like literally right next to the fence with them. One of our projects we started out was as just building a retaining wall basically right next to one of the enclosures, and started out they just handed us a pickaxe, a shovel, and a couple wheelbarrows and said to start digging. And Croatia is an extremely rocky country, and so we just went at it. It was really hot, lots of sweat, lots of grunting, but ended up being a really good bonding experience for all of us because it was like our first day and nobody knew it, but we all stuck it out and ended up being pretty enjoyable. I won't say too much fun, but we got the job done. And after that, the team leader, or the town leader, his name was Ivan, he took us up to Mount Kopia, which was the highest peak in the area, and showed us a site where he wanted us to dig a watering hole for the surrounding bears, all the local bears in the area. Because it's not central Croatia, there's not a lot of rivers or lakes, not a lot of places for bears to get water. So it's important that they have a hole or a watering source, so when the rainy season hits, it collects, and throughout the year they have somewhere they can go and they know it's safe and they can get water. So we did that the remainder of our 2 weeks there. Every morning we get up, hike to the top of Kopia, bring most of our stuff, just go at it. And we ran into a slight stumble where, like I said, Croatia's extremely rocky, so we got about a foot into the earth, foot and a half, and discovered there was just this huge rock structure underneath where we were digging. So ended up having to dig around that. We're trying to break it up and get it out there, but like they're sustainable. They don't use any sort of dynamite or anything like that. No electric tools. So trying to break it up by hand ended up being a little too much, and the rocks were huge. So we just we dug all the way around it, cleaned it out, ended up making it into kind of like an artistic structure is what the leader of the village seemed to like about it. And around it we built paths with certain rocks. We create walls leading up to the structure. We built a fire pit up there, because one of the bigger aspects of the village is they survive a lot on the tourism that comes in from people that either come to Croatia or they're from Croatia themselves. They hear about this conservation and they want to come see the bears. And so it was really something that was really cool for people that were visiting, that they could come see at the top of the mountain while they were looking for bears or searching around the area. We actually had, what was really cool is we had a news group came and talked to us, interviewed some of us, and we were able to find the article online when we got back, and it was all in Croatian with our pictures, which was really, really awesome. So back home, speaking to students, benefits from ISV, the biggest benefit, personal growth right there. Like it's really hard to preach without you going out there and doing it, but it's about getting out of your bubble, doing something that a ton of people always talk about. Like, I want to travel, I wish I could do that, no way, you went to Europe, I want to do that. Well, when you're in college especially, and even after college, the time is now. That if you keep putting it off, it's going to be eventually, this is going to happen, you'll start your career, you'll get locked down. But now is the time. If you're a student and ISV's got your back, it's an awesome organization that will set things up for you, but it doesn't restrict you, it doesn't confine you to a certain thing. You still have your freedom to do what you like in certain towns you village, whether on your adventure tour or wherever you're doing your volunteering. You make lifelong friends. Like today, I still speak with a large portion of the people I met there. Actually, one of our buddies from England just sent us an email about a week ago and said he's coming for a tour of the West Coast. So 2 years later, not a ton of conversation, but he knows that he's got a place to stay anytime he comes to the States. And it opens doors that will never be there if you don't take that step. Like, coming back home, that's not the end of the adventure. You'll still have places all around the States that you can go and visit anytime you want and see how people live even in this country in different towns. ISV, this adventure, it really helps you figure out who you are. It builds that self-confidence. You can go out there, you can do things that you never really dreamed of, and know that if you're on your own or even in a team that you can hack it, and you're there to basically be yourself, and that's okay to be yourself, and people will accept you for who you are. A lot of the stuff you also develop as far as coming back home and getting a career is something that job employers like to see. They like to see that you're doing things besides, just getting good grades in school. A lot of people get good grades. You did something outside the box. You went that extra step. You spent your money and your time to go abroad to get that experience. And they say the global market, the world is shrinking, and now's the time to get that experience, because a lot of major corporations, even smaller businesses, they have different branches all around the world. And if you've been there and you know somebody there, or you can speak the language a little bit, that gives you a huge step above other people. And what is important about a job was the next question you all had. So I think the most important part is really having a positive impact on whatever you're doing. If it's a person or a product or an experience, if you're doing your best and you're keeping a positive attitude, you just kind of take your energy that you have and just kind of put it out there, focus it on what you're doing, and the results really will follow. It's just be passionate about what you're doing. It's something you care about. No one wants to really go to work and just go through the motions, wake up every day and just not be happy with getting up, and that first cup of coffee is what saves you. You want to get up and be excited about that day and excited about what you're doing. And last of all, how do you know when you're doing a good job? I think, like I said before, it's when you see basically how you react with that person you're helping. Or I work as a CNA. I'm a nursing assistant, and so I'm helping people with their rehabilitation or doing things that they used to do every day, like just getting out of bed. And sometimes it can be really embarrassing, and when you see that they're just so happy with what you're doing and so respectful of you, it's just that satisfaction, and knowing that you're making someone else's lives better is what it's all about. And pushing yourself, if you're pushing yourself in your job and you're always getting better, you're always making someone else a better person, then it's worth the while. I've always had, kind of throughout my entire life, this motto that no matter what I'm doing, I want to do it the best. And I've a lot of people growing up, they've worked a ton of jobs, different jobs here and there, and some not the easiest. I've worked as a boat washer when I was in high school. I worked at a plywood mill for summers during college, and no matter what the job was, I always took the attitude that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be the best at it. And I think if you can take that outlook on your job, your life in general, then you're going to be happy, and it'll all be worthwhile. So as far as the questions go, I think that's about it. I really appreciate you guys taking this second to look it over. ISV really did change my life, and I know everyone says that because it's such a great organization, and to work for you guys would be just so spectacular and something I would really have dreamed of. So I look forward to hearing back from you, and just thank you so much for your time.